Hi everyone, it's Marie here. Today we're talking about 90-day planning. How do you create a 90-day plan? I spoke about this topic last week on my Tuesday Live in Facebook. If you missed it, this is awesome because now you get the replay and the article and all the links all in one place, right? So make sure you check that stuff out down below. But the reason that I created a 90-day planning video is because we're coming to the end of the year. It's when everyone starts thinking about what they want for next year, setting resolutions, setting big goals. But of course, a goal without a plan is simply a wish. So how do we start making those goals into reality? And that's where the 90-day plan comes in. Now, I've broken this down into 4 steps for how you can go through the 90-day planning process. And the first one, of course, starts with setting your goal. And so you'll notice behind me, we're going to start with a BHAG. Big, hairy, audacious goal. When you set goals, they should be enormous. They should be challenging. They should be exciting, but also a little bit scary. And if you're setting your goals and you aren't just a little bit scared, you're probably not going big enough. But when you set a big, hairy, audacious goal, the idea behind it is that you should immediately be connected emotionally to what that goal is going to do for your life. When I set goals, I use the Best Self Planner for all of my 90-day planning. And it's great because this planner actually breaks everything down into 13-week increments, which if you're quick with the math, you know that's about 90 days, right? So this is what that journal looks like. Those of you who are interested, you can catch the link for the tool as well and check it out yourself. But the way this planner starts and how all 90-day planning should start is with your big hairy goal, right? And so there's a space there for your results goal. And that's where you're putting how you're connected to this emotional challenge you've set before you. Once you've set your big hairy audacious goal, step number 2 is to start thinking about the projects that are going to best help support you in meeting that goal. This is my true life, real 90-day planner. And the goal that I set in this particular planner was to raise my income, my salary, not my revenue for my business, but my salary by $15,000. And I was connected to that goal because 1, it would establish me with more credibility in my field. 2, it's also going to help me do more, be more, show up more in terms of opportunities for my family. So immediately I got my emotional connection. But when I think about the projects that are going to help support me in raising my salary by that much, I had to come up with 3 big projects, okay? And that's where we come here, right? Projects. We have our goal. What are the projects that support it? Now, when I think of projects that are going to help support me raising my income, I'm thinking, okay, 3 revenue streams. I can create an online program. I can increase my one-on-one roster. I can start looking at monetizing a membership site. Those are 3 major projects. But when I think of those projects, I'm also immediately going to start thinking for all the things that I would need in place to make those projects happen. And that's where we go with step 3, is actually writing out the to-do lists for all those projects. Projects 1, 2, and 3. This is an opportunity for you to brain dump everything that you can, really kind of word vomit every idea, every way, every strategy for how you can come to those major projects that support your goal. Once you do that, you have these 3 major laundry lists, you can move on to step 4, which is to actually put it on the calendar. If you know anything about goal setting and goals being SMART, S-M-A-R-T, you know the T stands for time bound. Goals have much more power when not only we write them down, but 2, when there is a deadline and a time commitment attached to it. And that's where the calendar comes in. Now, once we have all of these tasks, right, we want to calendar them, but we also need to prioritize the tasks, which means looking at what needs to be done in terms of how soon it needs to be done, so the time commitment, but also in terms of how important it is to helping us fulfill the overall project objective, right? So I like to use Brian Tracy's method. If you've read Eat That Frog, you know he has an ABCD way of labeling all of his daily tasks. And that's the same thing I do. And so A is looking at what absolutely needs to happen today, or absolutely needs to happen in like the next 48 hours, and it's also extremely important, mission critical. Those are my A items, right? And I can number them, prioritize A1, A2, A3. My B items, maybe they're super, super important, mission critical to the project, but doesn't have to get done absolutely today. And I prioritize which ones are B1, B2, B3. C items might be a little bit of a mix. This might be more of It would be great to have. If I can have it today, that'd be great. If it's not included, I could also live with that, but then prioritizing those items. And then finally, our D level items, those are things that, yeah, would be great to have. I would like to incorporate, but I personally don't need to accomplish the task or do the work myself. And I like to think of D is for delegate. This is something that I can assign to someone else to handle the task, and then I'll check in on status later. Okay, so when we get to calendaring all of the to-do items, we're going to be keeping this kind of priority system in mind, but we need to have the major milestones on the calendar so we can fill in some of the gaps. Okay, now if you're a project management head and you love project management tools, you're probably already very familiar with Asana or something similar in the digital realm. I myself, not so savvy on the Asana. I've tried it a few times, didn't really work for me. I've also had the same experience with Trello, which is a digital version of a Kanban board, right? And Kanban board is just essentially post-itting everything, right? And you have it maybe on a whiteboard like this, but it's post-its, and then you move the post-its based on how they're progressing from needs to happen, in progress, to done, whatever system, right? Me personally, right now, I'm loving Tom's Planner, which is an online cloud-based platform that allows you to create Gantt charts, right? And Gantt charts are great in my mind because you can assign a task, give it a deadline, make it dependent on another task, and then if that task moves, right, because you're late on the deadline or you're running behind, then it automatically will shift the dependent tasks and therefore also shift your timeline. So you can see how things move fluidly in real time, which is great, right? So choose your calendar platform, your project management tool to map out the big project milestones, and then the tasks are what ends up going into something like your best self planner or your regular agenda tool. I also use Google Calendar for big milestones to have on my calendar, make me aware of when I might need to start working on something or when something needs to be completed or if I have a meeting with someone that's critical, right? Those are going to be in my Google Calendar. But for my own personal action items and daily to-dos, those are going to be in my daily agenda. And so once I have everything calendared out, big picture, I can then go back and week to week plot out, okay, what needs to be done week 1 of the next 13 weeks? What do I need to accomplish? Week 2, week 3. And then pulling from those weekly objectives, I can then go ahead and start filling out my daily agendas. And so if you look here, I have opportunity in this tool to plan and time block hour by hour what is getting accomplished for the day. And there's also opportunity for me to set those daily goals. What are the milestones that I want to hit day to day? All right. So that's 90-day planning in a nutshell, right? You set your big, hairy, audacious goal, break it down into no more than 3 projects, create the task and to-do lists for all of those projects, prioritize, make them time-bound, put it on a calendar, and then start working your weekly and daily plans to move actively toward your goals. Now, if you're not a pen and paper person, I'm going to highly encourage you to get back on that bandwagon. Studies have proven time and again, pen and paper does wonders for solidifying ideas into your memory centers and also helping you actualize your desires. There's a lot of research on this. But start with what is your big, hairy, audacious goal? How are you emotionally connected to it? And then we can dig in and how to start laying out your 90-day plan to help you move in that direction. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.